Now, we'd like to begin the general meeting of the High School Student Summit on World Tsunami Awareness Day 2025 in Sendai. My name is Shuji Kurihara of Sendai Daisan High School. I will continue to serve as MC today, following yesterday's opening ceremony.
My name is Sosuke Ono of Sendai Daisan High School. I also continue to serve as MC. Nice to meet you all.
Now, we will be honored to invite Mr. Tetsuya Ito, the Vice Governor of Miyagi, to deliver a few words as the representative of the organizers of the summit. Vice Governor Ito, please.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tetsuya Ito, Vice Governor of Miyagi Prefecture. On this occasion, students from across Japan, across Japan and around the world have gathered in Miyagi. It is a great honor to have this summit held here in our prefecture. 14 and a half years have passed since the great East Japan earthquake and tsunami disaster, which greatly affected Miyagi and the Tohoku region. I would like to take this opportunity to once again express my appreciation to everyone from Japan and overseas for their kind support, which has allowed us to recover and rebuild from this unprecedented disaster. The workshops during the summit focused on three themes: build back better, multi-stakeholder participation in disaster risk reduction, and passing on lessons learned and fostering a culture of disaster resilience. Through these themes, we can continue to engage in thoughtful discussion regarding disaster prevention, reduction, and recovery. Indeed, these themes represent challenges that Miyagi Prefecture has faced and will continue to face for a long time to come. In Japan, we have a word, kizuna. Although there were many casualties due to the disaster, I believe it was the bonds between people, or kizuna, that enabled us to have hope and move forward in our recovery. We cannot predict when and how a disaster will strike. The impact that the disasters have will also take various forms in different regions around the world. However, by strengthening our kizuna, which transcends regions and nations, we can share many lessons and insights. We can strengthen our capacity to overcome disasters. I hope that you will cherish the kizuna, or ties, that you have built through this exchange across nations and languages, and that you will go on to play active roles as leaders in disaster prevention and reduction in your respective countries and regions. In conclusion, I would like to express my appreciation for everyone involved in the organization of this summit, and offer my wishes for the good health and happiness of everyone in attendance today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice Governor Ito.
Next, it is our great honor to present a video message from Mr. Kamaru Kisho, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Head of the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, and the representative of the co-organizers of the summit. Kindly take a look.
Dear youth ambassadors, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the United Nations Office for Disaster Risk Reduction, I congratulate you on organizing the High School Student Summit on World Tsunami Awareness Day 2025, bringing together around 100 students from 10 countries. This year's summit is especially meaningful as it is being held in Sendai City, the birthplace of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, which was adopted 10 years ago to reduce global disaster losses by the year 2030. And tsunamis are among the most destructive hazards. That is why, in 2015, at Japan's urging, the UN General Assembly designated the 5th of November as World Tsunami Awareness Day. This year's 10th anniversary theme, Be Tsunami Ready, Invest in Tsunami Preparedness, is not just a slogan. It is a call to action because we know resilience pays. After the catastrophic 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, the world invested in early warning systems, a decision that continues to save lives to this day. When a massive earthquake struck off Russia's coast in July, alerts reached millions, from Japan to the Pacific Islands to California. But with sea levels rising and more people living in coastal areas, countries must invest in maintaining and improving their tsunami early warning systems. Countries must also invest in raising disaster awareness, conducting preparedness drills, and reinforcing critical infrastructure such as schools to be disaster resilient. Last year, I had the honor of visiting the Arahama Elementary School in Sendai City, which is now a museum and a memorial. This school saved the lives of 320 people who went up to its roof when the 2011 tsunami struck. Also, during that same disaster, we saw in a different city in the Tohoku region the power of education, when junior high school students led more than 360 elementary school students to higher ground to escape the waves. This became the miracle of Kamaishi. These lessons from Japan demonstrate the value of investing in resilience. I'm extremely grateful to Japan for its leadership in disaster risk reduction and its commitment to sharing its expertise and helping other countries build their resilience. I would also like to thank the high school students and the Sendai City officials who joined our commemoration event in New York on the 5th of November. I especially thank the Government of Japan for its continued support to UNDRR and this annual commemoration. On a personal note, Japan has also shaped my own professional journey. I first visited Japan after the 1995 Kobe earthquake as a student and was inspired by the resilience of its people. That is why I'm proud that UNDRR and Japan have co-organized these high school students' summits since 2016, and I hope they continue for many years to inspire future generations. Dear youth ambassadors for World Tsunami Awareness Day, you are the future leaders of disaster risk reduction. I ask, please commit to raising awareness, to taking action to reduce risks, and to advancing the goals of the Sendai Framework. Thank you.
That was a message from Mr. Kamaru Kisho, Special Representative of the UN Secretary General for Disaster Risk Reduction and Head of the UN Office for Disaster Risk Reduction.
We will be honored to invite Mr. Imamura, Vice President of Tohoku University, to deliver a few words as the representative of the co-organizers of the summit. Vice President Imamura, please.
Yeah. Good morning. Ohayo gozaimasu. Dear distinguished guest and high school student and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Fumiko Imamura, the professor of the tsunami engineering and also vice president of Tohoku University. On behalf of Tohoku University, I would like to express my gratitude for your participation in the important summit. As we are going to the conclusion of this meaningful high school student summit on the World Awareness Day, I would like to extend my deepest appreciation to all of you for your productive and thoughtful discussion and commitment to creating the safer and more resilient world. It's especially significant that we gather here at the International Research Institute of Disaster Sciences here IRIDES, Tohoku University in Sendai. The city of the Sendai experiences of the devastating damage caused by the 2011 Great East Japan earthquake tsunami, and also city that hosted the third UN conference on disaster risk reduction in 2015 and gave the birth that the Sendai Framework for Risk Reduction 2015 to 2030. From that strategy, we learned invaluable lessons about the power of nature and the importance of the preparedness and also importance of the build back better and the strength of the human solidarity. Throughout this summit, we have shared very innovative ideas, creative projects, and heartful reflections on how to arise tsunami awareness and reduce disaster risk in your school and communities. What I have seen here gives me great hope. You, younger generation, are not only learning from the past, but also learning us toward the future, where knowledge, empathy, and action can save life. World Tsunami Awareness Day reminds us that disaster knows no borders. They are global challenges, issues requiring shared understanding and cooperation. Each of you now carried responsibility to the messenger of the preparedness and resilience, to inspire the others, and to continue learning and working together beyond the summit. Let us remind that true resilience begins with awareness and grows through the education and ensured through compassion. Okay. On behalf of Tohoku University, I would like again to express my gratitude for your participation in the very important summit. And after graduating high school, please consider study at Tohoku University. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Vice President Imamura. And we have received telegraph to commemorate the summit from Mr. Kenichi Shoji, a member of the House of Representatives, and Ms. Chisato Morishita, a member of the House of Representatives, and Mr. Mitsuru Sakurai, a member of the House of this representative. These commemorative messages are on display in the summit venue for a while.
Now, we will be honored to invite a representative of today's honored guest, Mr. Sasaki, Chairman of Miyagi Prefecture Assembly, to deliver a few words. Mr. Sasaki, please.
皆さんこんにちは。宮城県議会議長の佐伯浩司でございます。県議会を代表いたしまして一言ご挨拶を申し上げます。日本全国、そして世界各国からお集まりをいただきました高校生の皆さん、数日間にわたる本サミットへの参加、大変お疲れ様でした。慣れない場所、異なる文化や環境の中においても、熱心に議論を交わし、精力的に活動された皆さんの高い志と真摯な姿勢に、心から敬意を表します。さて、東日本大震災の発生から間もなく14年9ヶ月が経過をいたします。この間、国内外からの皆様から賜りました温かいご支援と多大なるご協力に、この場をお借りしまして、改めて厚く御礼を申し上げます。未曾有の被害を受けたこの宮城の地から、皆さんの取り組みの成果が、本日、大会宣言として世界に発信されますことは、誠に意義深いことだと存じます。ご参加いただいた高校生の皆さんには、ぜひ本サミットを通じて学んだことをご友人やご家族、そして後輩や次の世代へ伝えていただくとともに、世界の防災・減災を牽引する担い手として未来に向かって大きく羽ばたかれることを心よりご期待申し上げます。結びに本サミットの開催にあたり、ご尽力をいただきましたすべての皆様方に深く感謝と敬意を表しますとともに、ご臨席の皆様方の今後ますますのご健勝、ご活躍を記念いたしまして、ご挨拶とさせていただきます。令和7年11月28日、宮城県議会議長、佐伯浩司。
Thank you, Mr. Sasaki. Now, we would like to move on to report on the workshops. I'd like to ask the chairperson and vice chairpersons to read the meeting.
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruka Ogura. I'm a student at Sendai Daiichi High School, and I will chair this summit meeting.
My name is Mitsuki Komatsu. I'm a student at Sendai Daisan High School. I'm a vice chairperson for this summit.
My name is Yumeto Hirama. I'm a student at Sagajo High School. I am a vice chairperson for this summit.
As part of the High School Student Summit on Tsunami Awareness Day here in Sendai, we divided into 3 workshops to discuss 3 topics based on overall theme: connect with the world to protect the future from tsunamis. Let's consider disaster risks reduction from the lessons of the Great East Japan Earthquake and the Sendai Framework.
The first topic is Build Back Better. The second topic is multi-stakeholder participation in disaster risk reduction. The third topic is passing on lessons learned and fostering a culture of disaster resilience. Each workshop has developed its own plan. Now the representative from each workshop will present their plan.
I'd like to invite the presenter from Workshop 1. Please start your presentation.
A very good morning to distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Now we will begin our report for Workshop 1. I'm Sarah Shikawa from Tokyo Gakuge University International Secondary School.
And I'm Jaro from Nanyang Polytechnic, Singapore.
Our workshop had representatives from Japan, Singapore, Indonesia, and Cambodia. The youths have a common consensus that tsunami awareness is important despite the countries facing different natural disasters. Some common disaster was brought up from the country's Workshop 1 was flooding, tsunami, typhoons, earthquakes, each unique to the country's geographical location. Common mitigation discussed were awareness campaigns and active citizenry, which meant all citizens should play a part in disaster risk reduction. However, concerns of the impact of awareness was still a dilemma. And now we will be presenting our ideas for Workshop 1. For A, Build Back Better. What we think was important and its reason is build stronger infrastructure through a reconstruction process by learning from past disasters and mistakes. We thought it was important because to ensure tragedy doesn't happen again. And another important thing is build mental resilience through hope and encouragement. We thought it was important to ensuring smooth, calm evacuation and reducing long-term trauma. And what we can do as high schoolers is create community platforms where people share ideas and challenges, including conducting workshops.
All right, thank you, Sarah. So next will be multi-stakeholder participation. Now, in this case, it will be connecting the local government with the people on the ground. And amongst the countries, we notice a lack of channels to communicate from the ground up. This can cause misunderstanding between the governance and the needs of the people on the ground, which is why it's important to ensure local governance collaboration with its citizens. So some of our actionable steps include actually having forums, more town councils, and forums can be through physical forums or online forums as well, where the local people can feedback directly to the government either through a form or through an online platform for the use. All right, next, passing on lessons. So history of disaster has to be recorded and shared to ensure we learn from our past mistakes and avoid unnecessary tragedy and loss of infrastructure, which is why it's important that we pass on the lessons learned. And we found the best way is through storytellers. As human touch in advocacy, it's important to inspire and motivate others to take action. We also found a decline in storytellers in Japan. Thus, we found different avenues to revitalize and revamp storytelling. And now for our actionable plan. For our start, we will be ensuring even the young and those without disaster experience can be storytellers, thus ensuring inclusivity. And storytelling can be done through various other platforms, either virtually or physically. Firstly, physically can be done through worksheets, booklets, and this can be passed on to schools or communities as well. And for virtually, it can be done through games. As we are high schoolers, popular game among us would be such as Minecraft or Roblox. And for instance, these games can be integrated to have tsunami experiences where the youth can understand tsunami better as well. And in conclusion, we should all take action today for a better tomorrow. Thank you.
That was from Workshop 1. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite the presenter from Workshop 2 to the stage.
Hello, my name is Kazuma Fujimoto. I'm from Japan, in Hyogo school, Himeji Higashi High School in Hyogo Prefecture.
And I am Tariq Viet. I am from Phan Boi Châu High School for the Gifted in Nghệ An Province, Vietnam. So let's get into, let's start. First, I'll talk about theme A, Build Back Better. About what we think is important and its reason. Due to a lack of awareness on building back better and a sense of crisis among young people, we as ambassadors should teach younger generations how to prepare before and after disasters. As an example, during the great earthquake and tsunami of East Japan in 2011 in Arahama, after the earthquake, people evacuated to a school called Arahama Primary School. But due to the long period of time between the earthquake and the tsunami, some people thought it was safe and left to search for their families and valuables. However, those people were caught off guard by the tsunami and are no longer with us. After the disaster, evacuation hills as well as elevated roads were built and disaster training were organized to prevent such a tragedy from happening again. We as ambassadors should teach younger generations about these tales in order to prepare them for disasters. We can also share information about planning and process of building back better after a disaster in order to reconstruct more effectively. For example, by publicizing the reconstruction plan, people can plan ahead and help with the reconstruction effort. As for what we can do, we can communicate better with each other about the planning, process, and importance of building back better by using SNS. For example, in order to reach more people, we can post the reconstruction plan on social media and run awareness campaigns. We can also use AI to make applications that can help when disaster strikes, such as 3D maps. I suggest you'll try this at least once. In just a few hours, you can create your own app using AI to combat disasters.
Next. Second, I'll talk about theme 2, about what we there is important and its reason. It is important for all people to take action, evaluate properly when a disaster hits. It is also important to cooperate with people in their community to build stronger bonds in order to better respond to a disaster. As an example, in Soma City, seeing that the waves weren't receding, a good amount of people, though it was safe and didn't evacuate until it was too late. When the tsunami hit, a large number of people were killed or swept away by the waves. If they had evacuated early, perhaps they would still be here with us. We can organize training programs for all communities to strengthen ties between people. For example, those workshops, people can not only strengthen cooperation in evacuation drills, but also learn how to use the 3D maps. Strong bonds will help people better respond and overcome disasters. Next. Finally, I'll talk about theme 3. Since younger generation don't know the previous cases of natural disasters, the stories and lessons about disasters might not be passed down from one generation to the next. Storytellers can tell their experiences to younger generation and also teach them how to prepare for future disasters by playing games such as Karta. Karta, which is a traditional Japanese game, where readers recite a passage from poems and players collect a picture card. Through this game, players can understand both the picture's content and the text together. Surely, many young people weren't hit by big disaster directly. However, we must not forget the stories of disasters. So we have to pass on the experiences to the next generation. It is because we can look at disasters more objectively than those who experience the disaster, and we can learn from the disaster better. Thank you.
That was from workshop 2. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to invite the presenter from workshop 3 to the stage.
A pleasant morning to everyone. My name is Bianca Emanuel Cuadra Velarde. I am a 15-year-old student from General Luna, Siargao Island, Philippines. And with me is...
My name is Haruki Tomita. I'm 17 years old. I'm from Seibu Gakuen Burnley High School. I'm from Japan. Nice to meet you.
We are honored today to be standing in front of you not just as students, but as student leaders who believe in creating meaningful impact. So today we are going to present our collaborative output from the workshop 3. So let's begin with the first theme, Build Back Better. So building back better ensures recovery from disasters, not only to restore what was lost, but as well as improve it. So first, we believe that supporting the construction of facilities and disaster-proof infrastructure mitigates the damages caused by future disasters, and it also lessens casualties. Second is we should create a recovery plan, such as a long-term plan and a short-term plan. So the long-term plan, it basically focuses on ensuring sustainable recovery and reduces future risks. An example of this is information campaigns and environmental restoration. For the short-term plan, this focuses on basic human needs, such as food, water, shelter, and medicine.
Next, what we can do? First, a faster and safer recovery requires communication with the government, community, as well as family and friends. Second, created and spread better and easier communication tools, such as universal hand sign for the tsunami. When a tsunami occurs, we would probably try to communicate with people who don't understand the language by using gestures. I also cannot speak English very well. However, there is currently no gesture that specifically represents tsunami. If the tsunami is not yet visible, simply shouting "run" may cause people from countries unfamiliar with tsunami to misunderstand and think, is this a terrorist attack? If they decide to hide in building instead, they may not notice an approaching tsunami, which is very dangerous. Therefore, what we need is a better and easier communication tool.
Okay, next. So when a disaster strikes, we cannot predict it when it strikes, but no single human being can face it alone. So coordination with multi-stakeholders is important. An example of multi-stakeholders is the government, non-government organizations, international agencies, especially local communities, and school is very important in coordination. However, challenges such as poor coordination, communication gaps, and different priorities lessens the effectiveness. This is why we should make coordination enjoyable and creative in order for our stakeholders to take ownership of their actions.
Next, what we can do? Evacuation drill will be conducted by students as participated by everyone. When we actually conducted, a student planned disaster drill at my school. A survey showed that by placing themselves in the position of the people affected, students were able to view disaster and their own concern, and their awareness of disaster preparedness tended to increase.
Okay, so when a disaster strikes, not only broken buildings are left, but as well as the stories of loss, survival, and lessons. Only if we remember it. By promoting storytelling, we can reduce the mistakes that we have made in the past and also fully understand what truly happened in order for us to pass the knowledge to future generations.
Next, storytelling event will be organized by schools so that our youth can gain knowledge and basic skill on disaster risk reduction from the other generations that has faced the disaster in the past.
So in conclusion, youth should use their voice and actions to build a better future.
Let's take action together!
Thank you.
That was from Workshop 3. Thank you very much. We have now heard presentations from all the workshops.
Next, we will hear a report from the high school student reporters on the result of their coverage.
The Kahoku Disaster Risk Reduction Reporters is a program organized by the Kahoku Shinpo, which is a newspaper company headquartered in Sendai for junior and senior high school students in Miyagi Prefecture. Through this program, students learn about disaster risk reduction and share their experiences and articles, which are written based on their own reporting as disaster-related information.
This time, we will hear reports from reporter Miss Anna Takahashi, reporter Miss Saki Takahashi, and reporter Mr. Gakuto Yamaguchi.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are the Kahoku Disaster Risk Reduction Reporters. We are a member of a group of junior high and high school students active here in Miyagi Prefecture. Since 2021, we have been working as a group with the support of Tohoku-based newspaper, the Kahoku Shinpo. Next March 11th, it will be 15 years after the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami occurred. On that day, more than 10,000 people lost their lives in Miyagi Prefecture alone, and over 1,200 are still missing today. Countless people lost their homes. When the earthquake struck, our group members were all very small or were not even born yet. We are the generation that has no clear memories of the terrible disaster. However, that is exactly why we believe we can afford to remain uninformed. To ensure that such sorrows should never be repeated, we visit disaster-affected areas, listen to the stories of bereaved families and survivors, and we learn the truth seriously.
But we don't just learn, we want to act. Now we'll review emergency supplies with our families, participate in evacuation drills, and turn our realizations into newspaper articles. Our goal is that our newspaper readers will never regard disaster as someone else's problems, but try to think it as their and start preparing for themselves. This is our wish that drives our activities. Over the past 5 years, our group has grown up to 65 members. Some of us have even got professional disaster risk reduction expert certifications, and some others are serving as leaders in their schools and communities. In this World Tsunami Awareness Day 2025 High School Student Summit in Sendai, 9 of us participated as a reporting team. We covered the visit to the ruins of Alahama Elementary School and watched students from all over the world engage in passionate discussions. Seeing all of you, our peers, we felt something very strongly.
We realized that even though our countries and regions may differ from each other, the threat of disasters caused by natural hazards and the importance of protecting lives are universal. We also share the same passion, a desire to build a disaster-resilient society on our own as the leaders of the next generation. We created the DRR newspaper, which means Disaster Reduction Newspaper, with the hope that this summit leads to your internal personal growth and our future international cooperation. It is filled with our heartfelt wish that any lives will not be sacrificed in the future disaster. Now, let me talk a little about our impression of high school summit. We could learn about disaster not only in Japan, but also in other countries. Also, we could talk about it with students all over the world. This kind of opportunity was valuable for us. Thank you for everyone who gave us such opportunity. We thought that we must not fade away what we learned on this summit, but tell it to our family, friends, and so on. And in order to preserve memories of today for future generations, we also thought that today's DRR newspaper is worth publishing. Now is the time. Everyone, why don't we take the first step of storyteller as our peers? Thank you very much. We hope you remind that these 2 days reading the high school summit newspaper. Thank you for your kind attention.
That was the report from Kahoku Reporters for Disaster Risk Reduction. Thank you very much. We youth ambassadors for World Tsunami Awareness Day have spent many hours preparing for this presentation.
And over these 2 days, we have worked together with friends from around the world to consider how to create a resilient world.
In closing this summit meeting, we now would like to deliver the declaration.
The World Tsunami Awareness Day was established by the United Nations General Assembly in 2015. The High School Student Summit on World Tsunami Awareness Day was created the following year in 2016. In November 2025, we gathered in Sendai City, Miyagi Prefecture, a city that bears the memory of the Great East Japan earthquake and the birthplace of the Sendai Framework for Disaster Risk Reduction, 2015 to 2030, which guides global efforts for disaster resilience. Here, together with our peers, We reflected on the importance of learning from past lessons and passing on disaster risk reduction efforts to future generations.
We commit ourselves to take actions to confront the threats of disasters caused by natural hazards, including tsunamis, and to realize a safe and sustainable society for the future. For Build Back Better, based on lessons learned from large-scale disasters, we will advocate for building stronger infrastructure and facilities through reconstruction processes by learning from past disasters, so that some mistakes should not be repeated. Promote mental resilience and preparedness of our society against disasters. Create a recovery plan, including long-term and short-term, before disaster strikes in our communities.
For the participation of multi-stakeholders in disaster risk reduction, we will enhance communications among various stakeholders, including improvement and development of easier communication tools and technologies. Conduct capacity development activities such as training programs, evacuation drills, and local workshops. Create community platforms where stakeholders, including students, can share ideas and challenges which foster the ownership for actions. Such community platforms also facilitate dialogues with local governments to ensure inclusiveness in disaster risk reduction. For passing on lessons and fostering a culture of disaster resilience, we will become storytellers by learning from others who directly experienced disasters, because anybody can become storytellers without having direct experiences. Create enjoyable educational materials, including games, so that the next generation can enjoy learning about disaster risk reduction.
We are thankful for the blessings of nature, and we should also correctly understand threatened presence. We have a responsibility to pass on memories of disasters and culture of disaster resilience to the future generations. Drawing strengths from the bonds we forged at this summit, we hereby declare that each of us will act as a leader in disaster risk reduction, working toward building back better in recovery and realization of resilient future. November 28, 2025, High School Student Summit on World Tsunami Awareness Day 2025 in Sendai. We believe that by valuing our shared commitment to the future and steadily implementing each of our action plans, we can fulfill the purpose of the Sendai Future Declaration.
We have shared an unforgettable 2 days together.
Our discussions have helped us understand one another and strengthen our bonds of friendship.
I know that wherever we are, we will always be valuable friends.
We have the responsibility to work with our new friend to share what we have learned during this summit with the world and future generations.
Let's keep the Sendai Future Declaration in our hearts as we become new leaders in disaster risk reduction.
Many high school students from across Asia gathered here in Sendai, and we had a great time together over these 2 days. Now, the time has come to close this summit. Thank you very much.